welcome back to our continuous coverage of ICC Men's Cricket World Cup semi-final 2 clash between Australia and South Africa, which is currently underway at Kolkata's Eden Gardens. Now, till the last reports came in, South Africa were at 171 for a loss of 6 wickets. Let's quickly get to all the latest on what is happening right now. So, five-time champions Australia currently taking on Team South Africa in Eden Gardens at the second semi-final of the match, which is currently underway in India's eastern city of Kolkata. South Africa's captain Temba Bavuma earlier won the toss and elected to bat first, but the decision immediately backfired. Now, Australian pacers Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood ripped through the top order as South Africa lost 4 wickets for just 24 runs. Worse, Bavuma was out without even scoring. Then David Miller and Rassie van der Dussen steadied South African innings by adding over 90 runs for 5th wicket. Meanwhile, the play was halted for a few minutes due to rain, but South Africa then lost 2 more wickets after resumption of the play. Dussen was out after scoring 47, maintaining a very slow strike rate. South Africa have never progressed beyond the semi-finals of the tournament, and they were impeded by a combination of bad luck and nerves. Now, they have looked formidable this time, having trounced Australia in the league phase, but Australia are on a 7 games winning streak. To get to the latest score, it is 171 for a loss of 6 wickets at this time. Now, before we go on to discuss more on this, let's before that quickly take a look at how South Africa has performed at league stages so far. They scored 428 for a loss of 5 wickets against Sri Lanka in the league stage. Against Australia, they scored 311 for a loss of 7 wickets. Netherlands, they scored blue with scoring 207 only. And against England, it was 399 for a loss of 7 wickets so far in the various league matches that they have played at this edition of ICC Cricket World Cup. Now, to discuss more on this, I am joined by senior sports journalist and cricket expert, Mr. Rakesh Rao. Good evening, Mr. Rao. Thank you so much for joining us here on this very special edition. The second semi-final is currently underway, and we all know that whoever teams goes past this very important litmus test will face a tough challenge against Team India. But right now, talking about Team South Africa, they've choked again.
Well, you can't say that they've choked again, but yes, we have seen that throw them in the semi-finals of the World Cup, and they somehow they just fall short of giving their best. And so far it appears to be Australia's game to lose because Australians are all over them. And just look at 24 for 4, and then just what happens? I mean, just when you see that the South Africans are firmly on the course of recovery, that one change, rather one decision. As they say that you are always one decision away from a major change in your life. This particular one decision from the Australian skipper of, introducing, Travis Head, and he gets 2 and 2. And then again, the Proteas have to come back to that same old story of recovering, rebuilding the innings, and, their run rate was never past 4 and over. And that is what kept the Australians in hope. And I think the Australian camp must be feeling terribly, relieved that, there they are. It was a good toss to lose. And we all know the South African style of playing. That means their steady template is to just win the toss and bat first and put the runs on the board. And for once, they have cracked all those scores which you showed, 428 against Sri Lanka, 399 against England. And all those scores were they all came when South Africans were batting first. And the score of 207, that was a valiant chase against, that was against, the team from, I think, that was Holland, Netherlands, rather. So there you are. So their template is just this. Bavuma had to win this toss. They had to bat first to have any chance, because I don't see South Africans, opting to chase in any game. So this could well be their last game, but then we can't say anything till, we have a target on the board and how they begin against the fast bowling attack of South Africa. So a lot is still in the match. Yeah.
Yeah, we also have Anil Thomas joining us from Eden Gardens, Kolkata. Anil, talking about the score, what do you think? We are 43 overs have been played till now. We have 7 more overs to go. The current score is 172. Would South Africa would be able to cross the 200 mark over here, Anil? Can you hear my voice, Anil?
Well, very much surprising the way, South Africans have gone about. They've got into a shell. That's the bigger problem. Getting into a shell and then coming out of it is difficult, especially in these kind of occasions.
All right, going back to Mr. Rakesh Rao right now, we will try connecting with Anil Thomas once again and talk about this partnership. Now, talking about first about Temba Bavuma, many players, Mr. Rao, many fans are quoting questions on Temba Bavuma's captaincy. What is your take? Many are also talking about the reservation point over here and that he came undeservedly. But what do you think of Bavuma over here?
See, Bavuma had led the team brilliantly. If you just remember what happened in the South Africa, and Australia series just before the World Cup. I mean, he was there. He hit 100. He saved a match. I mean, he scored a match-winning 100 against the same quality of attack. But the point here is that the fans are impatient. They want results and they want it the way they want it. They don't want to see any other way. So these things will happen. I mean, fans will obviously question. Yes, Markram had, led the team brilliantly in the absence of the present captain. But the point remains that you'll always go back to your first choice skipper. Bavuma is not a bad captain. As long as the team bats first, puts the runs on the board, and the team is winning, nobody was questioning him. Just because they had to chase down, and that is what the only time they managed it successfully was against Pakistan. So when you look at the numbers, yes, it doesn't look great. But the point is, his form has let him down. Now the biggest problem is when the captain is not happy with his own form, he can't get that confidence in that like dugout or the dressing room, or also of course on the ground. So all these things do happen. Like in the case of Rohit is going great, and so what he does is he brings in a lot more to the table, and that is, I think, what is going against Bavuma here.
Right, let's go back to Anil and try connecting with him. Anil, the current score says 178 rather, for a loss of 7 wickets now. Another wicket is gone for Team South Africa. Would Team South Africa be able to go par 200 over here? What do you think, Anil?
Well, that's what all people are hoping, because this particular track is offering some kind of turn for the bowlers. South Africa have gone into this particular outing with 2 spinners. So they are expecting Shamsi and Maharaj to come good. But for that to happen, the South Africans need to put some runs on the board, which they have not done to date. I don't think anything less than 230, 240 on this particular track, South African bowlers do get a chance. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult, especially for the way South Africans have gone about. They have gone into a shell. Miller and Klaasen did try to break free. But when they looked set for something big, Klaasen departed. And then followed by that, you had Jansen going back. So that, double break that Travis King managed to get surely, has upset the South African, batting card. And I think South Africans will need to dig deep if they have to put up a respectable total for their bowlers to defend.
Going back to Mr. Rao, when we were discussing about this match and everybody was analysing the match between South Africa and Australia, South Africa is known as a team who are well balanced, whereas there were questions on Australia's bowling. But today's match, while South Africa was not playing up to the mark, Australia were very good on the other side. Travis Head, he took very important and key wickets over here. What do you think of his performance today?
For me, that was a huge surprise. I mean, nobody expected Travis Head to be introduced. I mean, he is not a great, he doesn't have a great, track record with the ball. He started in the middle order, then he got lucky, well, with all those, like match fixing allegations. He was elevated to the to the slot of the opener, and he has actually done well. Be it the middle order, be it the opener, he hit that, he hit that 100 also in the same World Cup. So that guy is known to be his class, his caliber with the bat, and this was a huge surprise. I don't know how Klaasen just missed it. That was a huge surprise for me because I was just watching that ball. He didn't expect the ball to turn as much, and it just beat the bat and hit middle. So and of course the very next ball, Jansen again, getting LBW. Now they expect Jansen to be there with the bat because he's supposed to be one of the most successful guy with the ball in the first 10 overs. But then he has done extremely well with the bat as well. So for this was a double, it was like a twin trouble for the Africans here. Now, again, what I'm trying to say is, it is just that the Australians for once have got their act right against South Africa in a long time. If you remember that series, they won the first two, lost the next three. They came here, they played them in the second game, and they lost. They had just lost to India, softened up by India. Australians ran into these rampaging South Africans and lost badly. I think it was some 130 odd runs. So for them to come back after losing the toss, this is a huge moment for them. And this should give them so much of confidence. It is just that they just have to chase down whatever the South Africans offer on the board. But having said that, I'm not ruling out a close contest here because I don't think it is easy to play those shots. And if the Australians cannot have a partnership up front, right at the top, they are going to face a lot of trouble once they are made to face 20 overs of spin.
Right, the current score says 182 for a loss of 7 wickets. Let's go back to Anil Thomas. Anil, when we talk about Rasi Venterdasan over here, he's maintained the lowest strike rate. Today also his performance was not up to the mark. A very lean chart over here for him.
Well, a tough call to make, looking at the way South Africans have gone about. If they can put, anywhere in the range of 200, 240 on the board, it's a tough ask for, it could be a tough ask for the Aussies because this particular track, there is a bit of, purchase there for the spinners. But if your medium pacers can come and do something there at the top, it could be a blessing for the South Africans too. But for that to happen, the South Africans still need to put some more runs on the board for the bowlers to feel pepped up to come out and attack and go all guns blazing.
All right, thank you so much, Anil, for joining us right now. We would go back to Mr. Rao, and before that, we will take a quick look at the venue records at Eden Gardens here in Kolkata. Let's quickly take a look at the venue records at this very pitch. So, total matches that have been played here are 96 at the Eden Gardens. Out of this, matches won batting first are 52 out of 96, whereas matches won second are number 44. So, 44 matches have been won now when the teams chose to field first. Now, average first inning score is 221.1, whereas if you talk about the average second inning score, it is 181.8. That is the pitch record of Eden Gardens. Highest total recorded at this pitch is 393, whereas the lowest total recorded at this very pitch is 50. Now, looking at all these statistics and numbers, Mr. Rao, coming back to you, what do you think can be a decent figure that South Africa can pose as a challenge for Team Australia, and also would Australia would be able to chase that very conveniently?
Deepika, see, for me, I don't get swayed by history. I always look at what is happening at the moment, and all these numbers look great. I mean, these are facts. Having said that, for this South African team, because they are used to scoring big and defending them with ease. Now here, even if they put up, say, something like 210, 215, 220, in that range between 200 and 220, they will have a tough ask, really. I mean, it will be a huge challenge. And unless they get wickets up front, it is Australia's game to lose, which I've already said, because Australia has maintained their grip from the first ball, I think. I mean, never for a moment did you feel that, that the South Africans are trying to dominate. They never gave them that opportunity. And batting first, South Africa has never experienced it right through this World Cup. They've always been on top. Their openers have been, I mean, like we know that Quinton has been getting those, hundreds by regularity. I mean, amazing regularity. Having said that, this kind of a setback, they will have to, pull up a new gear somewhere. They'll have to play their A game, raise their bar to such an extent which at least we haven't seen in this World Cup. Then again, the same old talk of, the South Africans choking. I hate to, again, look back at these numbers. Why I say this is, let me just reinforce one point here. New Zealand has played 1 quarterfinal, 6 semifinals, and 2 World Cup finals without winning one. They haven't won this World Cup. So whom would you call as chokers? 1 quarterfinal, 6 semifinals, 2 finals, and still waiting for their first crown. So South Africans have never gone beyond the semifinals. That's also the point. But how many times have they played the semifinals? So when we look at the numbers, you can't see, because they have given us enough evidence to, and also they have batted enough number of times while chasing, and they've choked. So we call them as chokers. Poor South Africans, they suffer from this label.
Right.
Seriously, they only suffer from this label. But come the time, I want to say that people should look at numbers more fairly and not just repeat what has already been said about chokers, chokers, chokers. I think South Africans deserve better.
And very quick last question, is the World Cup coming home now?
Yeah, Indians will go in as the favorite, no question about it. But then what gives them as an advantage as a home team gets negated because of the heightened expectations. So again, when they start the last match, 1 game away from winning it, the odds will still be 50-50. Make no mistake, it's a fresh game. Again, as I said, don't look at those 11 wins on the trot. The confidence is there, the batters are doing well, but I still say a game of cricket starts fresh. It still starts from 0 for 0, and you have to put in your best foot forward. So, of course, I would root for India. And having won the league 9 out of 9, that means any team that you play in the semifinals or in the last match is the team whom you have beaten in your last encounter. So all this makes you feel great. But again, come the final, it'll again be 50-50.
And temperament should also be the key. Thank you so much, Mr. Rao, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective.
Thank you,
Let's also quickly give a quick update on the score. It is 191 for a loss of 7 wickets. South Africa is currently batting. Very soon we will also witness the second innings, and let's see how Australia plays, and we would by the end of the day have the name of the team which will face Team India on the super finale on the 19th of November. But stay tuned to DD India for a quick post-match review here only. Thank you so much for joining us right now.